Hey, welcome. My name is Courtney Neubauer, and today we're going to have our monthly nutrition support call. So today is November the 2nd. Our next call will be on the first Tuesday of December. I hope everybody has recovered from the sugar high from Halloween. It is now officially November, and we're getting ready for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I know I'm absolutely looking forward to putting up my Christmas tree. I've hid all the Halloween candy in the back of my car, so I'm hoping that it all melts together and that they'll forget about it and I can just discard it. But I definitely think that for me, my favorite holiday is Christmas, so I'm definitely looking forward to December and setting up Christmas trees, trying to find a little bit of happy in the craziness of COVID. So today, our agenda, we have a special guest with us. So Miss Ariane Bryant will be talking to start about how No Kid Hungry can help. We'll then go into kind of our traditional topics. We'll talk a little bit about our state oversight plan for this school year, the child nutrition emergency cost guidance, a little bit about PEBT local level funding. We're also going to just touch on pandemic electronic benefits transfer, or PEBT. I know that's one of those topics that we keep bringing up. Also, just a reminder about the child nutrition program website redesign. I would like to focus some time on the supply chain disruptions. I know that's really a hot topic right now. We'll then go into school year 21-22 food service flexibilities, also operational updates, and then our training updates and other program reminders. So to start, like I said, our topic to start will be how No Kid Hungry can help, and we will have Miss Ariane Bryant talking. Ariane is the senior manager for No Kid Hungry Louisiana. She joined the team in August and works to support and expand various No Kid Hungry partner relationships across the state. Ariane has an extensive background in chronic disease prevention, school nutrition, and physical activity promotion. And most recently, she served as the South Louisiana Healthy Schools and Communities Program Manager at the Alliance for a Healthier Generation. So I'm now going to turn it over to Miss Ariane.
Thank you, Courtney. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you again, Melissa, for allowing us the opportunity to share briefly on all the ways that No Kid Hungry can support our schools and district leaders. My name is Ariane C. Bryant, and I am the Senior Program Manager for No Kid Hungry Louisiana. I am very excited to be working with you, and I'll be your point of contact for resources, technical assistance, grants, and so much more. Next slide, please. For those of you who may be a little unfamiliar with our work, No Kid Hungry is the flagship campaign of the national anti-hunger organization Share Our Strength. Share Our Strength has a mission of ending childhood hunger and poverty in the US and abroad. Today, much of our work happens within No Kid Hungry, which was launched in 2010. We provide assistance in numerous ways, but our support is traditionally grouped into three categories: school meals, where we have direct one-on-one support, whether it's via resource sharing or learning best practices and success stories from your district and sharing this statewide, or group support like this and other webinars we provide directly. Grants. I know most of you are familiar with our amazing grant opportunities. We just recently completed a grant cycle and we'll be launching another one soon for those of you who may be interested in applying. And advocacy, both at the state and local levels. So nationally, Share Our Strength works with advocates who support the Build Better Back plan. And locally, we partner with other state-level anti-hunger organizations and agencies such as Feeding Louisiana and the Louisiana Budget Project to increase our capacity to feed more children and families. Next slide, please. Specifically, No Kid Hungry can help by providing guidance on various USDA feeding programs, offering individualized assistance around CEP implementation, helping you to navigate and clarify USDA waivers, strategizing plans for meal service, and celebrating you and your staff. To do all of this, we have a dedicated team based here in Louisiana and an extended national support team to serve you. Next slide, please. Please join us right here next week as we will be sharing tips for navigating supply chain disruptions. And remember to sign up to receive our newsletter and follow us on Twitter. Any questions in the chat box? Thank you. Thank you, Courtney. That concludes the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ariane, for joining us today. And like she said, please join next week. So November the 9th at 1 o'clock, we'll have our professional standards and wellness policy call. And we've also added a section on No Kid Hungry. So please join us then. She'll have a much more time to talk about all the offerings that No Kid Hungry has. So thank you, Ariane.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we'll move into talking about our state oversight plan and what our plans are for this next school year. So we did send an introductory email to all SFAs that were scheduled for an administrative review. That email was sent on October the 1st. We then hosted an administrative review training on October the 19th. And at this time, we do plan to have all of our administrative reviews conducted off-site. Sites will be virtual until it is safe for us to resume in-person site reviews. The review dates can be found on the CNR support website. And just as a reminder, the review date that is listed on CNR support is the Monday of the review week. CNR will coordinate with each SFA the exact date of that virtual site visit. The administrative review schedule is posted on our website, and it reflects the technical assistance that was conducted in school year 2021. And to date, the review dates have not been included on this particular administrative review schedule, but it will be updated very soon to have those dates. If you were not able to join us on October the 19th for the training on preparing for the administrative review, you can access those slides and the video on Louisiana Fit Kids. And the slides and the video are also linked here in this presentation. So if you access the presentation at the link, you can get to these other resources. As a reminder, there are a few waivers that impact the administrative reviews for school year 21-22. And the first waiver is the waiver that allows for the administrative reviews to be conducted when a school system is choosing to participate in the seamless summer option. So if you remember back in school year 2021, most of our school systems were participating in the summer food service program, and we were not able to conduct administrative reviews of school systems that were participating in summer feeding. With this flexibility in school year 21-22, we are allowed to conduct reviews if a school system is participating in seamless summer, and that is our plan. So with minor modifications, our administrative reviews can and will resume for school year 21-22, even if the school system is operating the seamless summer option. So our reviews that were initially planned for school year 2021 were postponed and will occur this school year in 21-22. And our reviews that were initially planned for school year 21-22 will now occur in school year 22-23. There is also the waiver of the on-site monitoring requirements in the school meals program. And this waiver allows for that on-site site visit to occur off-site. So allow for desk audits. It allows us to conduct those virtual site visits. And we will return on-site when it's safe to do so. But at this point, we anticipate that we will be conducting these reviews off-site. Also, this waiver allows for the SFA on-site monitoring. So that's that on-site monitoring that is due by February 1st. This monitoring can also be conducted through off-site means. So when school systems are participating in seamless summer, the monitoring requirements are the same as National School Lunch. So the monitoring requirements would be that one monitoring form that's due by February 1st for seamless summer, and that monitoring visit can be conducted through off-site means. There's also a waiver of the on-site monitoring requirements for CACFP, and this allows for the on-site portion of the monitoring review to also be conducted through off-site means. So now we'll just briefly talk about the child nutrition emergency cost guidance. I know you've heard this over and over again, but we are still getting a lot of calls. So I like to include this in here to answer any questions for anybody that may be logging on or listening for the first time. So emergency cost payments have gone out. So school systems that operated CACFP in addition to the National School Lunch Program could have received 2 payments. The first payment, the school food service emergency operational cost, that payment was made on August 26th. And in the LaGov payment system, that payment will include the name CNP Emerge cost. If the school system also received a payment under the CACFP emergency operating cost, that comment would be CNP Emerge CACFP in the LaGov payment system. Payments were issued for that payment on August 27th. You can see Memo 21X225 for information on that payment. We also have Memo SFS 21-X238 that you can also refer to for additional information. The emergency cost funds, once they're deposited into the child nutrition account, they do not need to be tracked separately from other funds in the nonprofit food service account. The funds should be treated as fiscal year 2021 funding, which is in line with the award date during the same fiscal year and also the period performance end date, which was September 30th, 2021. Program operators must maintain documentation to ensure the funds are used solely for allowable program costs, just as they would with any other program costs under the child nutrition programs. The CFDA numbers for these grants are the same as the CFDA program numbers. So National School Lunch would be 10.555 and CACFP would be 10.558. The PEBT local level funding for schools, those payments went out on September the 9th. The comment on that payment would be FNS PEBT LOC ADM in the LaGov payment system. And that's basically FNS PEBT local admin is what that would stand for. The CFDA number for this grant is 10.649. You can see Memo SFS 21-X226 for information on that payment. Due to the wide variation in the number of PEBT eligible children, FNS developed a simplified payment amount. So Louisiana made payments based on the chart listed on this slide. So it was based off of the number of PEBT eligible children. If the school system had less than 1,000 PEBT eligible children, then they received $614. If it was between 1,001 and 5,000 children, the payment amount was $3,063. And if there were over 5,001 eligible children, the school system received $5,814. We'll now jump to PEBT, just the benefits that are awarded to families. So as a reminder, parents should be directed to the new parent portal for viewing and managing all of the PEBT benefits. The new portal assists families with letting them know if they're receiving benefits, what amounts they will or have received, and when additional funds have been added to their card. School systems should provide this link and information about the portal to lessen the number of calls and questions. And we are kind of in this lull between school year 2021 PEBT and school year 21-22 PEBT. So at this time, most of our families have all received their benefits for summer 2021. And so there aren't a ton of calls still coming in, but they are still coming in. So just today, I had 2 calls from parents that have found me and are asking questions about trying to get their benefits corrected. So they may have not received benefits for their child, and they're having a hard time getting information from the school systems or from when they call DCFS. So they have found their way to my desk, and so trying to resolve those issues. So please work with your families to get this information resolved so these families can receive their benefits. DCFS does now have a PEBT admin portal, and this portal allows for schools to upload spreadsheets, fix exceptions or data errors, edit certain case details and student data, edits affiliated schools, and they can also search student details to determine what benefits have been issued. So at this time, since it has been a little while since the administrative portal has been up and running, I do hope that most school systems have access to this. And that is really in anticipation of school year 21-22 PEBT, and then also correcting any of these exceptions that may be coming in from families. So 21-22, I get this questioned a lot about PEBT. So the requirements for 21-22 PEBT will be the same as the PEBT requirements during school year 2021. So for example, states are going to submit their data just as they probably would this past year. We anticipate that it will look very similar. But states have to submit their PEBT plan to USDA for review and approval. And at this time, we do not have a plan that has been approved for school year 21-22. So this is really in anticipation of that plan, knowing that it is a flexibility that DCFS will be applying for because USDA has made it available. So what I encourage you to do at this point is to really make sure that there's a good process for capturing student learning, that students that are learning virtually or in a hybrid setting, to make your job a little bit easier when those spreadsheets are being requested at a later point. So at this point, really just trying to make sure that you have a process for capturing this information when that request does come somewhere down the line. Also, really, pushing for those meal applications to be completed. So for families that are maybe newly eligible to free and reduced benefits, they may not see the benefit in completing meal applications because they're already getting free meals through Seamless Summer, but really encouraging them to complete those applications in anticipation of that plan being approved somewhere down the line. Our website redesign, if you haven't seen the redesign of the website yet, I am a little concerned, because if you haven't seen it yet, then that means you haven't logged on our website. So I hope by now that you all have seen the website. It is the same address that you're used to. We are looking for feedback, questions or comments that you can send to our email address, childnutritionprograms@la.gov. It has a new look. So when you get to the front page, we're dividing it up by the programs. So CACFP, school food service, summer feeding. We also, the blue sign-in box in the corner will then take you to the normal sign-in screen, where that will look very similar. Also, you can find the resources and memos on our homepage under resources. You also can access those memos and resources that you're so familiar with through the bottom in this dark blue box at the memos and resources heading. And just as a reminder, on October 1st, 2021, our memos began being posted under year 2022. So October 1 is the beginning of the new fiscal year, and so the memos are now posted under 2022. So supply chain disruptions. I know at this point, this is something we've heard and talked about. I feel like it's a daily struggle for just about everybody. We just had a call yesterday with USDA talking about the struggles and trying to figure out, how to provide assistance. We hope that the information that we've provided to them will provide information that they can then send up to national office and maybe soon we'll see some relief. But at this time, we do know that there are many SFAs that are facing supply chain disruptions. And this includes severe food product shortages, unexpected substitutions of food products, and unanticipated cancellation of contracts, and very much increased food prices and food and supply prices. So this is definitely something that we know that every morning, every hour before lunch, you're scrambling to come up with a plan. Menus are changing, and so those are not always updated, to be able to provide it to families. I'm sure you're hearing complaints from families about those changes. So really doing some information, doing as much as you can to provide information out to your families, also referring to many of these resources. So I saw that Kelly posted a link to the No Kid Hungry resource on supply chain disruptions. We've also posted the question and answer from USDA regarding emergency procurement due to supply chain issues. We then posted a clarification memo, which is memo SFS 22-20, which has additional clarifications. We also have a list of updated resources that USDA released that we posted as well. And this is memo SFS 22-22. So this has a list of some other flexibilities that USDA has released, and they some summary of the flexibilities. There's some really great like infographics on the flexibilities that are available. So I encourage you to look over some of those. And this last one is a little short video that I stumbled across that is really great for educating families on why things are changing so frequently. So why you're not able to supply the items that are on the menu. And so this is really a great little video that you could post on your social media platforms to let families know why they're seeing those disruptions in the menus. And then also, like I mentioned, Kelly has a link in the chat box to a resource from No Kid Hungry regarding supply chain disruptions. So this next slide here, the supply chain survey. So we posted a memo just yesterday regarding a survey. So USDA is going to be conducting a web survey of all SFAs that operate the child nutrition programs, and they need your input. And this is really, really important. So they are wanting to hear about the challenges you're having so they can try to come up with some solutions to those problems. So I strongly encourage you to complete this survey. So we spoke to USDA yesterday. We also sent a list of all of the email addresses for our child nutrition directors and supervisors to them yesterday. So we anticipate that this survey will be sent directly to you the week of November the 8th, which is next week. Please complete that survey as soon as you are able to. It is critical to operations that USDA know what you're experiencing, so they can hopefully find some solutions to provide some relief. So please make sure that this is on top of your to-do list for next week when you do receive that email. So You will see that coming. If you have any questions, I know sometimes these surveys go out and there's that initial fear of whether or not it's actually a legitimate survey, or maybe it's just something that is spam. This is a legitimate survey. You should be receiving it next week. We provided the email addresses to USDA, so do look for that to be sent out. School year 21-22 food service flexibility. So we've talked about these over and over again. I think it's really just nice to see them. So these flexibilities are the ones we've talked about, since the beginning of this pandemic, really. So our flexibilities to be able to provide non-congregate feeding, the meal service time, and the parent guardian pickup. So the different types of models that you may have within your school system and how those waivers may be utilized. So if you're 100% in person, you are likely not to need the non-congregate feeding, the meal service time flexibility, or the parent guardian pickup. But we do know that there are often, even when you may be 100% in person, that there's also a subset of those children that are learning virtually. And so you may see that you need some of those meal service flexibilities for those children that may be learning virtually all year, or maybe there's periods of time where the school returns to virtual learning for maybe a COVID related issue. And so that flexibility is there if needed. The meal pattern flexibility, we do know that these flexibilities are available. They are a very targeted flexibility, and we'll talk more about that in just a minute. But really, do remember that you can use that emergency non-competitive procurement if you need to get product. Other reminders, the PEBT, it is something that USDA has released, saying that it is something that will be around for school year 21-22 and summer 2022. So just kind of be prepared for that to come back around and for that data request to come as we get a little bit further in the school year. Most of our school systems are claiming under the seamless summer option, and that's so that they can receive those higher summer food service program reimbursement rates. We do have a few residential facilities that are still operating national school lunch, but most of our school systems, or all of our school systems, are now operating under the seamless summer option. And we also have flexibilities with the after school program. So we are seeing many of our school systems participating in either after school snack under the National School Lunch Program, or operating the after school snack and or supper under the CACFP at-risk programs. So the meal pattern flexibility. So the meal pattern flexibility that we currently have was effective as of October 1. So we did have another flexibility that was a little bit broader that was available until September 30th, but our current meal pattern waiver is very specific. So there are very specific meal pattern flexibilities that can be waived to allow program operators to serve meals that may not meet the nutrition standards. So those specific meal pattern flexibilities that are available are that menus have to meet that dietary specification for sodium. So you can ask for a waiver of that sodium requirement. Also, if you remember, that all of the grains currently have to be whole grain rich. So you can ask for a waiver to be able to provide enriched grains and not have 100% of your items be whole grain rich. Also, for preschoolers, that at least one serving per day be whole grain rich. Also, you can ask for a waiver for the variety of vegetables from the vegetable subgroups. So we've heard recently that there's been some difficulty with getting canned beans. So you may have a hard time getting that bean legume subgroup. We've heard other issues with dark green vegetables. So if you're having issues with any of those vegetable subgroups, you could request that waiver. Also, we're seeing waiver requested for the requirement to have 2 different options of fluid milk. Also, remember the requirement is that low-fat milk must be unflavored. So if you need a waiver from that, and then to where you can offer low-fat milk with flavored and not just white. And then also the requirement to plan menus and offer food components for specific age grade groups in the stated combinations. So we approve these waivers on a case-by-case basis, except for the sodium waiver. So all of our school systems have opted into the sodium waiver, and we have granted that for the entire school year for everyone that has requested it. So this waiver provides very specific flexibilities for specific meal pattern requirements that were described in the previous slide. All of the other meal pattern requirements are to remain in effect. USDA has offered these specific flexibilities to support schools and offer alternative meal service models and support social distancing. So this meal pattern waiver does not allow SFAs to not serve an entire component. It does not allow SFAs to serve less than the required amounts to meet the daily and weekly requirements. And these waivers came out right at, kind of in the summer. And if you think back to where we were in the summer, we all thought that we were coming to the end of this pandemic. We felt like the school year was going to start off on a really great foot. USDA seemed to be very hopeful with the waivers that were released, and then the Delta variant hit, and we now I'm not sure that we see the end of the tunnel. So these flexibilities came about when we saw something very different for this school year. So at this point, we are hearing from USDA, they're very concerned about these supply chain issues. They're wanting information. So we're hopeful that maybe we'll see some additional flexibilities coming down the line. We also have the Congressional Flexibility, which has been extended to December 3rd. So this originally had an expiration date of September 30th, and this allowed for the substitution of vegetables and fruit in the school breakfast program. It also prohibited the funds from being used to procure raw or processed chicken products from the People's Republic of China. And it also provided guidance on the paid lunch prices for the National School Lunch Program and allowed the offering of low-fat milk. So this Consolidation Appropriations Act was revised, and so it now allows for the substitution of vegetables for the entire school year for breakfast. And then it also waives the requirement for the paid lunch prices for the entire school year of 21-22. And then it has an expiration now of December 3rd, 2021, for the purchasing of raw and processed poultry products from the People's Republic of China, and the allowing the offering of low-fat 1% flavored milk. Another waiver that's out there that we've definitely mentioned before is the waiver to allow fiscal action flexibility for meal pattern violations. So during an administrative review, the state agency is required to apply fiscal action for missing food components or missing production records, also required to apply fiscal action for repeated violations involving milk type or vegetable subgroups. So this waiver allows for the state agency to not assess fiscal action when these types of issues occur during an administrative review, and that it's related to the COVID-19 supply chain disruption. So if you have backup documentation to support that that these issues are related to the supply chain, then the state agency does not have to apply the fiscal action penalty for meal pattern during an administrative review. And this is for the entire school year. There's also a waiver to allow specific meal pattern flexibilities in the Cacfp program. And this is, once again, very specific requirements that are waived. The specific Cacfp meal pattern flexibilities are the requirement that at least one serving per day of grain be whole grain rich, that crediting of grains be by ounce equivalents by October 1st, 2021, and that low-fat milk must be unflavored. Just recently, USDA released additional Cacfp flexibilities during the supply chain disruption. And so to the extent practicable, state agencies and sponsoring organizations should use discretion and provide technical assistance in lieu of fiscal action when they observe non-compliance related to meal pattern when it is related to the COVID-19 supply chain disruptions. If CACFP operators are making a good faith effort to comply with the meal pattern, but they cannot, we should prioritize training and technical assistance to identify solutions for those circumstances. If substitutions in planned menus are necessitated, the reasons for the substitutions must be documented and meal records must be updated to reflect the changes. So it is very important that menus document the actual components served to participants. So make sure that if this does occur, that there is documentation to support those meal pattern the issues that occur. At this time, our meal pattern waiver elections are available on the Child Nutrition website. We're approving those waivers through December 31st, 2021. And this includes any previously submitted and approved meal pattern waivers. If supply chain issues continue after December 31st, which at this point we're at the beginning of November, so the chances are it's going to continue after December 31st, these waivers can be extended at this time. So USDA recommended that we have an incremental time period that we approve these types of waivers to determine if they would be still needed after that time. So at this point, we are approving them till the end of the calendar year. And then if there are still issues, those can absolutely be revised and extended at that time. You must maintain documentation on file for any unforeseen vendor delivery and/or shortage issues that prevent you from meeting the meal pattern. You do not need to submit this documentation to us at the state agency, but keep that on file should it need to be reviewed at a later date. Some school year 2021 operational updates. Just as a reminder, if you're operating regular National School Lunch School Breakfast program for breakfast, lunch, and snack, you're going to claim as you usually would under the National School Lunch School Breakfast program. If you're operating Seamless Summer for breakfast and lunch and an after school snack, then the SFA would claim breakfast and lunch under the Seamless Summer section, which is the green section of our claim, and snack would be claimed under the National School Lunch section. You also may be claiming snack and/or supper under CACFP. If you are doing that, then you would do breakfast and lunch in the green section, and then your snack and/or supper would be on the CACFP claim. We do have slides and a video that's posted from our October 13th claim training, and that can be found on the Louisiana Fit Kids website. There should be no double entry of breakfast or lunch meals under both areas. So we have seen some claims come in where there are meals in the white section, which is the National School Lunch section of the claim, and we have those same meals repeated in the Seamless Summer section. That should not occur. So the data should be only in one of those two sections for breakfast and lunch. So do make sure that that is in the correct section for the claim. So USDA has 4 memos regarding child nutrition operations that have been made available for this school year. The first one is posted. It's Memo SFS 21-X184, and this is the questions and answers for CNP operations in school year 21-22. They've also posted another one, which is a previously issued questions and answers, but it is related to the operation of child nutrition programs and was updated for school year 21-22. And that's Memo SFS 21-X197. There's also memo SFS 21-X205, which is the CEP operations questions and answers for school year 21-22. And then memo SFS 21-X255, which is the questions and answers for CMP operations in school year 21-22. As a reminder, the waiver to allow the seamless summer option in school year 21-22 was made available for SFAs that are responsible for administration of meal service at National School Lunch participating schools. Virtual academies that would not traditionally participate in meal service operated by an SFA are not authorized to provide seamless summer pursuant to that waiver, but the students who attend that virtual academy can pick up meals at an open site that is operated by an SFA. So the children can be served through an open site, but the site itself would not be able to be a site operating seamless summer. Also, another reminder about school meal applications. So the meal application is used to determine eligibility for free and reduced price meals. And then by extension, that is for PEBT eligibility. So you must make applications available as needed to certify children for free and reduced price meals. And those applications may be used to qualify newly eligible children for PEBT in school year 21-22 and summer 2022 PEBT benefits. All SFAs that are operating the seamless summer option, even those that are not planning to process applications, are still required to use eScholar to directly certify your students. The updates are available monthly. The requirement to notify households of direct certification eligibility has not been waived, and the September file is available in eScholar, and I would expect that the October file will be available in the next few days. TANF files. So TANF will be available for matching through eScholar very soon. The file download will be the same format as SNAP, and both SNAP and TANF files should be accepted by the food service software without overriding the SNAP data. And we will have both the DM index and the 3.0 file available for download. And do remember that TANF is also a direct certification, just like SNAP. So if you do have children that are receiving TANF, they are considered directly certified through TANF, just as they would be if they were a child that was certified through SNAP. So it's still a form of direct certification. Verification. So verification has started. So the sample size to conduct verification must be based on the number of applications that were on file as of October 1st. So if you collected household applications in school year 21-22, you are required to conduct verification, regardless of the reason for collecting those applications. We do have templates available on our website. We also have posted Spanish templates, and you can refer to memo SFS 21-X251 for the verification non-response rates to be used for school year 21-22. At this point, most of the verification activities are well on their way, being that the deadline for verification is November 15th. So I would hope that most of you are well in the process for verification. SFAs that did not complete the verification process, but they must still complete the verification form. And this would include residential childcare institutions, SFAs that are district-wide CEP, and SFAs that may not have had any applications on file as of October 1. So even if you are one of those three groups and you didn't do the verification process, you still have to complete the online verification summary form. This form is available for completion, and the due date is January 10th, 2022. We have a procurement update. So at this point, we know that our governor has been extending the emergency proclamation, which suspended the Louisiana public bid law. And he does that pretty much every 28 days. So currently the newest proclamation is 204 JBE 2021. And that was released on October 27th. That proclamation extends the provisions through Wednesday, November 24th. And as a reminder, there's also regulatory authority in the federal procurement regulations, which allows operators to use the emergency non-competitive proposal to negotiate a new one-year contract for school year 21-22. On to our training updates. So all of our trainings are available for registration on Louisiana Fit Kids. You after the training, you will receive a follow-up email confirming your attendance, the hours that you've received, and the training codes. After the training, we also encourage each participant to complete the questionnaire and evaluation. The registration for our November trainings are now open, and also our training slides and recorded videos are posted to Louisiana Fit Kids. November doesn't have quite as many trainings as we had in the previous months, but November the 9th is our professional standards and wellness policy, where we will also have No Kid Hungry on that particular training. On November the 16th, we have the verification summary form training, which is at 1 o'clock. Thursday, November 18th, we have a training on the fresh fruit and vegetable program, which is at 1 o'clock. And Tuesday, November 30th, we have formal procurement training at 1 o'clock. And our next monthly call is Tuesday, December 7th at 1 o'clock. As a reminder, directors can request manager training, and they can do that for their SFA or a combination of SFAs. It is at no cost to the SFA. There must be a minimum of 10 participants. It can be done virtually or in person. The schedule can be customized to the particular group, and you can contact Melissa Campbell if you have any questions. You can also register at the link provided if you are interested in the manager training class for your SFA. Other reminders that we may have: the fresh fruit and vegetable program. Applications for that program are open now. They're available for returning sponsors on our website, and the applications are due November the 12th. The equipment grant. So we do have money in to award with the equipment grant, and that can be used to purchase equipment to serve healthier meals, improve food safety, and help support the establishment, maintenance, or expansion of the school breakfast program. Priority is given to schools with the highest percentage of enrolled students. You can access the National School Lunch Program Equipment Assistant Grant document for more information. The deadline to apply is today. So please, 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 if you're hearing this for the first time, go and apply for the equipment grant. The deadline is today. USDA has also requested for responses to the School Meals Buy American provision. The request for information is also due today. They're seeking feedback from all stakeholders about how the Buy American provision and guidance are currently implemented, changes that should be made under the current regulations, and how they can better support our local operators. I encourage you to complete that request for information. The link is provided here, so please refer to that if you are interested in completing that before the end of the day. We also recently posted some updated guidance on that USDA has released regarding advice about eating fish. So the EPA and the FDA have issued an updated advice about eating fish. This revises the 2019 advice and incorporates the recommendations of the dietary guidelines for Americans for 2020 to 2025. There's also some resources here that you can refer to if you are interested in the resources about the new advice on eating fish. Just yesterday, we posted an updated document, and this is the HACCP prototype. So we do ask every year for you to send your HACCP manual. It's uploaded to our website. And we've noticed over the last year that these tend to be out of date. Oftentimes they're not really reflective of what's really happening. So Babette has created a prototype. She that can be revised and used in our schools. It has been reviewed by LDH. It meets the USDA requirements. Do know that you will have to adapt this for each site preparing and or serving food. So there are fill in the blank check boxes and blanks, but you do need to read through it and edit it to match the needs of your particular school and then the school system. eScholar updates. I know you've heard this a million times at this point, but we're just reminding you again that we have some updates coming for eScholar. So our improved system is going to support matching of multiple different programs. So not only SNAP, but also TANF, foster care, migrant. We're also going to have DC extended and also manual matching and also a system to look at address matching. Our CEP manager, which is now going to be part of the eScholar system, will be released in time for our April 22 CEP population data and CEP elections. So we are anticipating that you will start seeing that information after the new calendar year. And so we do anticipate that you will want to look at that data, make sure that all the student matches are occurring. This includes manual matches and address matches. So our population data will be fed into from the matches that are occurring in eScholar. So it's very important that all the matches and all the students be captured there so that the population data is accurate. And as a reminder, we have the pre-approved equipment list, which is available on our website. If you are looking to purchase a piece of equipment that is not on the pre-approved list, then you do need to fill out the Louisiana Equipment Purchase Pre-Approval Form and send that in to us so we can review and approve. I know once again, it's a lot of information. We try to get this all into an hour, and I know that it's kind of all over the place and a lot of information, but I hope that you're not on information overload at this point. Do know that you can refer back to these slides. This training is also recorded and will be posted on Louisiana Fit Kids, so you can listen to it again and refer to the slides. Feel free to call us or email us if you have any questions. I'm going to look over the chat box and see if there's any questions and see what I can answer. Okay, there's a question about the meal pattern waivers. So when you request the waiver, it's going to be for each of those different requirements. So if you're asking for a meal pattern waiver for the vegetable subgroup, then you would put just the vegetable subgroup. And there's a beginning date and an ending date. And so you can, it makes a lot of school systems have made that beginning date like the beginning of the school year. And then the ending date cannot be any later than December 31st at this point in time. And we do expect that that will be something that we will extend based on the supply chain disruptions. But at this time, the end date would be December 31st. If it is just kind of a one-day occurrence, so, and you really don't think that it's going to be a waiver that you need for that entire time, then you can ask for it for a specific date. We do not have the waiver down to a specific school, so it is at the SFA level. But you can ask for it, for a specific date if it's just kind of a fluke and you don't think it's going to be a regular problem, or you can ask for the waiver for a larger period of time, up until December 31st, just depending on what you're asking for. So we've kind of had a little bit of everything, but if it's due to the supply chain disruptions that seem to be continuous, then you could ask for the waiver for a larger period of time to cover you for those instances. Okay, if you're a school system that is 100% CEP, then you should not be asking for meal applications. So even for PEBT purposes, if you are district-wide CEP, then there would not be meal applications that would need to be processed. The administrative review dates are posted. They are on the CN resource support page, so CNR support. The date that's listed there is the Monday of the review week. So the site visits may not necessarily occur on the Monday, but they will be, that will be the date that's listed there, and CN resource will confirm with you what date they will actually do that visit. I've also put the No Kid Hungry resource in the chat box, so you can refer to that for more information on navigating supply chain issues. I know that's definitely the hot topic right now. I commend all of you for the thinking on your feet that you have to do to come up with a meal pattern change. I was looking on Facebook yesterday and saw that a school system had been very resourceful and is making homemade buns because of the issues with the grains and the whole grain rich items. So to be able to offer hamburger and hot dog buns, they're now making their own. So I really commend you for all of the creative thinking that has gone into planning menus to meet the needs of our kids with sometimes little planning. So the planning is occurring kind of in the moment to make sure that those requirements are met. So USDA's listening, they're wanting information from you, they're asking for information from you with the survey that will be sent next week. So please do what you can to submit that and get that into them so we can hopefully see some relief coming down the road. So I thank all of you for joining us. I don't have any more questions that have come through right now. If you come up with something, please email or call us. We look forward to seeing you on additional trainings that we have this month, and then our next monthly call on December the 7th. Thank you.